Hello, everybody. Welcome to this lesson on the basics of room acoustics. Now, there are people out there who go and get massive degrees. They're called acousticians, and they probably know way more than anyone really should know about getting great room sounds in your home studio. However, I am going to simplify everything down to something that anyone could understand, and all you really need to know to get great sounding recordings out of your home studio so that you can understand how room acoustics work, and then you can move forward and just continue making music and not obsess over the physics and all the math and all that crazy stuff that you really don't need to know. So before we jump in, I do have a resource that will help you on that journey to getting the perfect sound in your home studio, and that is my free acoustic treatment guide. You can get that at soundproofyourstudio.com/acoustic. That is soundproofyourstudio.com/acoustic. This guide will take you through everything you need to know to set up your studio properly so you get great recordings and great mixes and can hear exactly what's coming out of your speakers. All right, let's jump into the lesson. So let's start with the basics. As soon as you put sound in a room, any room, no matter even if it's the most incredible studio in the world, there will be acoustical problems in that room. The reason is that as soon as sound emanates from a source, let's say you're playing speakers, sound is coming 360 degrees from the speakers and it's going to hit a wall. No matter what, every room has walls, ceilings, and a floor. And as soon as sound hits something like a wall, a ceiling, or a floor, it will bounce back and re-enter the room. And then sound that is still coming from the speakers is going to mix with that sound wave that bounced off the wall, and it's going to either boost or cancel out the waveforms. So let me explain that again, because this is the crux of acoustics and understanding room acoustics, is that sound comes from a wave. So imagine a single wave hitting a wall. It bounces back with the equal amount of force that it hit that wall. And then new waves that are coming in potentially will mix with the wave that just bounced off the wall. Where those sound waves meet will create either a boost, meaning two peaks of the wave coming together, creating an even bigger peak, or a peak and a trough coming together, essentially creating a zero, a flat waveform, canceling out the sound so you don't actually hear that sound at all, which is crazy. So sometimes you can be in a room and notice that, the sound coming from your speakers will sound completely different in different parts of the room. That is because of these room acoustic phenomenon happening where certain frequencies are being canceled out or boosted. Now, this is a big problem when we're trying to record music and when we're trying to listen back to our speakers and understand what we just recorded. So to do that, we use what are called acoustic panels of different kinds and different sorts to absorb the waves, the sound waves that are hitting that wall. So instead of the sound wave hitting the wall and bouncing back with equal force, that sound wave will hit an acoustic panel, and the acoustic panel will absorb the sound energy and turn it into heat. And the acoustic panel's primary way of doing that is using fiberglass insulation. Specifically, Corning 703 is the industry standard for this because it does a really good job of absorbing sound across the entire frequency spectrum, which means even low, mid, and high sounds will all be absorbed roughly equally. Now that we have this sort of simplified understanding of how sound waves interact in our room and why it can cause problems, now let's talk about a solution of how to fix all these problems so that we can record our instruments and they sound great, and we can listen to our speakers and have them sound great. Like I said before, the main goal with acoustics is to use acoustic treatment, which are just panels of fiberglass insulation. If you want to learn how to build your own acoustic panels, I actually have a video that goes in depth into building some amazing lightweight, really great acoustic panels, and there's a link for that above me here, and there's also going to be a link in the description. So You use acoustic panels and you want to place them on your wall to create what is known as a reflection-free zone around your listening position. So when you set up your speakers and you set up your chair and you're sitting facing your speakers, you want to reduce the reflections that come directly from the speaker to the side walls. So here's a diagram of a reflection-free zone in my studio. Notice how I've put acoustic panels on both the left and right side of me so that sound that comes out of my speakers and hits the wall directly where my ears are will get absorbed and it won't come back to my listening position, making it so I hear acoustic distortion. I hear those dips or those peaks, making it so that the sound that is actually coming to my ears is not what's actually coming out of the speakers. And that is what we're trying to reduce. I also put an acoustic panel above me in what's known as a cloud. And the cloud is going to help with all the sound that's bouncing off the ceilings right above me. So it's going to absorb those sound waves, and then I won't hear the sound that's bouncing off the ceiling, making it so I'm hearing just what's coming out of the speakers. I also put some panels on my back wall directly behind me. Now these can be acoustic panels or they can be what are known as diffusion panels. In smaller rooms, it might be nice to use some sort of absorption acoustic panel like the ones I'm using on the other parts of my walls, or you can use a diffusion panel which will have the sound waves hit it and then it will disperse evenly and beautifully throughout your room, making it sound more pleasing and not getting those buildups where waves are hitting each other and canceling each other out. Lastly, it's extremely important to put acoustic panels in your corners. So all four corners of your room, or if you have more corners, depending on the type of room you're in, you want to put what are known as bass traps into those corners from the floor to the ceiling. The reason is that when low frequencies, those big bass frequencies that can come out of your speakers, they can come out of a bass instrument, they can come out of a kick drum, they can come from a subwoofer in your studio, those frequencies tend to get stuck and build up in the corners of your room, thus making it sound like you have way more bass or not enough bass, again, if certain frequencies are getting canceled out. When you put bass traps in the corners, that can essentially, those big bass frequencies will go into the corner and then they'll get stuck behind the acoustic panel that you have in the corner. So you put them, rectangular bass trap would go across the corner and have an air gap behind it. So these are just some of the ways that we can create a really nice sounding room in a fairly simple way, understanding some basic room acoustics in plain English, like I said in the title here. So I hope this video has been helpful for just giving you a general overview of how to acoustically treat your studio and understanding why we acoustically treat our studio. Again, if you want to go deeper and understand more about acoustic treatment and have a step-by-step guide of exactly how to acoustically treat your room, then check out my free acoustic guide that is at soundproofyourstudio.com/acoustic. That is soundproofyourstudio.com/acoustic. I want to thank you all so much for listening or watching. If you're on YouTube or on the podcast, I really appreciate it. We have new videos every single Monday and new podcast episodes as well every Monday. So make sure to like and comment and let me know if you have any questions about acoustic treatment. I would be happy to answer them. Until next week, I will see you later.